Hey, welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Survival. Today, I want to go a little bit more discussion-oriented than usual. See, there's a lot of stuff that I've really been wanting to get off my chest about, just kind of the game, everything, and so I thought, why not do some projects and stuff that I've been needing to get done, and we'll have a little bit of a talk about it. And I do want to real quick address something. What I'd like to address is that I am so sorry for the massive gap between the last two uploads. I just had a lot going on in my life. I had college orientation and just a lot of kind of mental health stuff going on. And so, hopefully we get a little bit quicker before this one. Also, yeah, I gotta zoom up. Right now I'm just kind of grabbing blocks, mostly at random. I don't really know too well what the little project I want to work on today is. Or, I don't really know too well what I want to do for it. I want to, today, work on the nether. That being said, I don't really know how I want it to look, so I'm just kind of getting a variety of blocks. That way I have as much freedom as I possibly can. And the thing I want to talk about today kind of ties into the project, because, well, it's not direct, but it's close. What I want to work on is the nether, because if we come inside, you'll see what I've got for a world that I've used for 3 years. It's kind of embarrassing. There's... that's it. Okay, well, technically not. I have a little frog light farm, but it's whatever. See, the thing I want to talk about is Minecraft discourse, which, it's in the title. I really want to talk about update cycles in this game, because I feel like we kind of go in circles. I forgot to put away my emeralds. I feel like we kind of go in circles with the same kind of stuff every update cycle, and it gets tiring. And I know I'm not gonna just fix it all, right? But I'm hoping I can at least give a bit of a unique opinion on it all. Specifically, I want to target just the sheer amount of hate that Mojang gets for the way they update this game. Because I think what a lot of people don't realize, or at least what the vocal minority, if it is a minority, doesn't realize, is just how hard it is to update Minecraft. Honestly, think about it like this, right? Oh, dude, seriously? Dude, seriously? Dude, you're messing up my whole thing. I should use a bow. I should use a bow. Why are you're so far away? Why are you still... You're still doing this. Yes! I lost all my achievements. Don't know how. But the thing I see, and that I'm fairly sure I can say that you see, is people hate on Mojang for the updates being not enough, right? That's the whole thing. Mojang is lazy, they don't update the game properly, they add useless features, and one in particular that I've seen lately is that every new Minecraft update is just friend slop, which is, I would be embarrassed to call something friend slop, because what does that say about you if you think something meant to be played with friends is slop? Not to be an attack, but it just really irritates me. But I do think what a lot of people can piece together and just don't put a name to is that there are multiple ways to play Minecraft. And Mojang has to accommodate all of them when they update the game. I think you can go mud bricks for the floor on this one. But what you find, I think, is that a lot of the more mature audience of the game, and by that I just mean age, is going to be the more vocal online, right? First of all, because they're the ones allowed on social media. You know, you don't let the little kids playing Minecraft on social media, even though they are the probably bulk of the fan base. They are the most silent because they have the least means to voice their opinions. And so what you find is, or what I find at least, is a lot of people who are extremely intent on this idea that Minecraft updates add nothing because there's no new progress added, you know? There's no new bosses. It's been so long since we had a new boss added to the game. Or survival's too easy now, or this update's just blocks, you know? I'm sorry, we are really mixing commentary and gameplay here. Still trying to kind of learn the format. But I think the update that this has kind of gotten the loudest with is Chaos Cubed, the upcoming drop that releases, I think, 2 days from recording this. And, you know, it really is just because there's been kind of a streak of updates that don't add much. Tiny Takeover, in particular, was a very small upfront update because so much of it was back-end updates. And there were a lot of people who did not like that. And who made that thought very known. I'm going to want more mud bricks. That's what I'm excited about with this upcoming drop is hopefully with 2 new brick variants I can put mud to rest a little bit. I don't use it a whole lot in this world because I try to be unique in this world, but other worlds I'm just constantly using mud. Oh, here it's really just kind of right there. Where's zombie? He's so for real, man. Is he in? He's so for real, man. Is he under my floor? Never build over a lake, guys. Don't do it. Anyways, what I was saying, I am really excited for the new sulfur and not brimstone. Cinnabar. What I am really excited about with those, I don't know where I got brimstone from. I was thinking the old deep slate. But what I see in them is a potential opportunity to stop leaning so heavily on mud bricks. It's not even the mud that gets me anymore, it's just the hay. The amount of hay that I have used on packing mud. Back to what I was saying about the maturity thing, though. I think also a lot of people who tend to be more go with the flow, stay offline more, and especially don't, you know, partake in that discourse because they just don't want to get involved. And you know, I'm a little ashamed. I dip my toes in, but what I think it becomes important to remember is again just how many different ways there are to play Minecraft. This isn't purely a survival game, it is a survival sandbox game. And with the direction that Mojang is taking, it's leaning more towards the sandbox side, which makes complete sense, really, if you think about it. Minecraft was never, at least the way I see it, going to be a challenging game. Just because there's not a whole lot that you can add challenge in the form of, other than making it easier to die. But everybody can agree, I think, that that is the worst part of survival Minecraft. Stop! Don't do that! This is how you make it difficult. And this is worsening my experience. But I do find that the easiest way to make Minecraft more challenging is just make it easier to die. And that's, you know, that's not really friendly to all of the player base, because there's a lot of people who don't want that. And then it devolves into, okay, we'll make it an option. But then if it becomes an option, there becomes just an entire side of, if I don't gain anything, why would I make the game harder on myself? Uh, but so you end up with then people asking, why am I not being rewarded for choosing this more difficult option? And you end up in a really, really difficult place. You can't make the game more difficult because then it becomes harder for people who are less skilled at video games and more challenging. And challenging is not really the word I mean. I mean more intimidating. I personally, I've been playing Minecraft for 15 years. And for a good 4 or 5 of those, I never touched a difficulty beyond peaceful. And I suffered because of it. I wasn't able to get string or bones. And so you can't make the game more challenging. But people still want that. And so you end up with a lot of niche features. But then people start arguing about how unnecessary all these niche features are. And so Mojang ends up left with very little options on what they can do. Because Mojang will never make everybody happy. Is kind of something that we need to learn to accept as a player base. There is no update that satisfies what everybody wants in Minecraft. And I earlier said that the Nether was kind of a fitting location for this discussion. And it's because people hated the Nether update when it came out. Now it's thought of very widely as a good update, but I do still see people talking about how they think it's the worst thing to happen to the game. I don't know about you, but I think this is way better than what we used to have. But as well remembered as it is today, there are still people who dislike it. And you can't just discount how those people feel and say that, their thoughts aren't important, because everybody's feelings are valid in this community. But even if even an update that I consider to be, perfect as the Nether update was, I do agree there were some things that could have been handled better with it. There are still so many different things that you have to account for, because people see the point of the game differently. And no matter how many times they say it, I think people still don't understand Mojang's view with the game. Which is, Mojang views Minecraft as a tool for storytelling. That is their angle with all the updates. They want to create a game that you can use to tell a story. I think you can use copper to detail the outsides. I don't know, I've recently seen a build from Snifferish that has me thinking copper and arches are awesome. If storytelling is the angle that Mojang is going for, of course they're going to focus on adding tools to help you tell stories. Like, I think that's a pretty easy thing to see, Pretty easy to understand. And so, something that they do avoid, and that they are very transparent about how they avoid, is adding lore to the game. Yeah, it's in all the spin-offs and in the movie, but it's the whole reason that it's called a Minecraft movie and not the Minecraft movie. They didn't want to set in a definitive story for the game, because Minecraft has always been about letting the players make it their game. That's why we do get so many blocks with every update. It is a priority for Mojang to add blocks as a tool for storytelling. I need to bring this side out a little bit more. Because Mojang have also been very transparent about how much they love seeing player creation and the community that has sprung up around Minecraft. And then there's people who talk about how Mojang could have done more in the time that they had, which just isn't true. Most of these updates are made over the course of a lot of time, yeah. But what people remember, or people forget, is that Minecraft isn't really any indie game. You know, it's got Microsoft behind it. It's not a passion project for people who work on it. They take pride in it, and they tend to enjoy their work. But it isn't something they do just out of the love of game development, which I think is what a lot of people miss. Minecraft is still a job. Working on this game is still a job. They do not do it non-stop. Those months that, go by with every update, people are going to get sick. People are going to have maternity leave. People are going to take breaks for the winter to go home with their families. And because it is run by Microsoft, there is an insane amount of quality control. Microsoft is extremely careful with Minecraft. They know how special what they have is, and Microsoft understand how unique of a game Minecraft is. This is not normal for a game, especially one that has existed as long as Minecraft has. What I mean to say, though, is that with how special Minecraft is, the quality assurance and just people think that Mojang is free to just do whatever they want, when Microsoft is kind of Big Brother, you know? They're looking for as much return on their investment as possible. But with just how watchful of an eye Microsoft keeps on Mojang, updating the game becomes very hard, especially because the Java team is pretty small. I forget the number, like the exact number, but I want to say it was 6 people were working on it a few years, like 2 years ago. The actual teams of coders is so small, and when they have so many back-end fixes that they need to do with every update, because this game's code is pretty old, it becomes a struggle. Like one of the biggest things that people say is that modders can do it. Modders can add more than Mojang in a shorter amount of time. And that just completely discounts how much quality control Mojang has, and how careful they are, and how much harder it is to update the main game than it is a mod. That holds up. I like that. I like that a lot. And I don't like it as an argument, because it is a little bit. But you really do still need to accept that most games do not get the amount of love that Minecraft does after... What are we on now? How many years? But after all this time, for a game to still be getting free updates is just pretty unheard of. One of the only other games of this age that comes to mind still going for it is Terraria, which was inspired by Minecraft. And I don't say that with any kind of hate, because I know people will take it that way. Terraria is my favorite game, actually. And that is, like, why it's a little bit saddening when people talk about Minecraft needs to do more because Terraria does more. And the thing is, they're different games. They have different bars of quality. Which isn't to say that Terraria is lower quality. But they added poop. Minecraft has not added poop yet. Terraria added poop because it would be funny. And that's kind of where you see a difference in Mojang's quality assurance. Because they also get a lot of criticism thrown their way for not wanting to implement certain features. Like sharks. It's one of the classics that everybody goes to about why Mojang just makes things up. Which is that the reason that they haven't added sharks is because they don't want to encourage violence against sharks. Oh, that's bad. Okay, that's bad. This is bad. This is a bad thing. In case you didn't know, hitting a gassed fireball at a piglin will inspire violence. Oh, those spears hurt. Oh no. Do I just kind of go and smite blazing? How are you supposed to get out of this situation? Oh, there's more. Okay. Okay, buddy. Do I need to just never come to the nether again? Finally. That was awful. Okay, you know what? Why is their anger infectious? And why are their forces unending? Maybe if I go home and then come back, they'll be ready to be nice. I forgot of the situation I was making for myself. Okay. That is my first death in this world in years. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Okay, oh no. Right. Right. Of course, can't have nice things. Oh, I didn't eat that many. Maybe if this doesn't work, I bring in iron golems. Oh, I should bring iron golems to the nether. That's a really good idea, actually. Okay, have you all learned something? Because all I've learned is that ghasts are the worst, which I already knew. Yeah, 16 iron golems should be good enough. By the way, I can't lie. Completely forgot what point I was on. Whatever train of thought I had just derailed. Last thing I remember was talking about Terraria. And so whenever somebody does say that the game isn't difficult enough, just point them to that clip. Because what was I supposed to do? What? Realistically, what solution was there? Sorry, the sound of a bunch of pigmen is really scary. Man. Oh, and he attacks them without even... Yeah. That was what I was worried about. Was that he wouldn't go straight to fighting them. But he does. So. We've got 14 golems. I see one left. That's how you deal with zombie piglins, I guess. I just feel like so much more could be achieved if we stopped complaining about updates. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles here. So that's where I'm going to call this one. I'm going to finish that up in the next episode. And we're going to skip the comment of the day because this is, you know, this is one that I hope this wasn't too standoffish, because I don't want to be that guy. I just take this not as a complaint against the community, but as a defense of Mojang. Right? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope to see you in the next one. So leave a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you want to see more from me. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this type of video. And that'll be all. Bye bye.